it's enlightening. It's like this kind of like, you feel so light, you feel happy, you feel positive, and you go, this is working, this is really working for me, I can do this, I can be a better person. And you know, even though I'm 26, it's still, and I'm still quite young, it's like I've got the rest of my life to be this person that I can now be, rather than going down this horrible path that I was going down and could completely destroy everything. Oh, I definitely feel like a different person, well and truly a different person now. I initially came into the Brain Wellness Bar because I actually had a lot of anger issues that I had to deal with. I went through quite a messy breakup that kind of triggered a lot of these emotions that I didn't realise that I had, and that, you know, I think I probably ignored more than anything else. And one of my family friends, her daughter had actually gone through the Brain Wellness Bar, and they went, you have to go, you have to try this would be fantastic for you. And that's why I just came here. My initial response to it was fantastic. I slept, like during that whole thing, I fell asleep during it. And when I woke up, I felt this kind of like, almost, it was a bit like something had been lifted off my shoulders. I felt really positive. I had a better mindset. Even like my family from the first day could instantly tell that there was a massive difference in my attitude and how I went about things. Even my work noticed it. So it's something that worked so well for me, and I went, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue this. Like, this is helping me. Some of the things people said to me, my mother is such a straightforward person. She doesn't beat around the bush. She's very blunt. She goes, this is the best you've been since you were a child. She said, we haven't seen this Kate since you were 13. And it was just fantastic to hear her say that. She goes, this is worth it. It's so worth it. And my father, who can be a little bit cynical, was like, oh, this is working for you, you know. And even though you do have little bits and pieces where you kind of fall back and you trip over yourself and, you know, you get a bit triggered, it still shows you react so much better than what you used to. And even then, like even now when I have issues, it's still, I react so much better than what I used to. And I can kind of tell when I'm about to get triggered, and I can walk away from the situation, or I can deal with it better. And it's just done wonders. Even my best friend is like, oh, I should try this. This would be fantastic. Things that would trigger me. So I work in customer service. So it's just, it sounds completely trivial, but just people not kind of realizing that you're a person too. And that used to trigger me a lot when you get abused by people, and it could be just the fact they've had a bad day and they're taking it out on you. But I used to be like, well, why is it me? Why are you dealing with me? And then, you know, certain things like things wouldn't go my way. Like if at uni I failed an assignment or something like that, I'd really beat myself up. Or even at home, if something wasn't done a particular way for me and the way that I like it, I would, you know, go, well, this be, you know, you should be doing it this way, or this sort of thing, and kind of exploding to something that you should never explode at, that you just kind of should shrug off and go, oh, it's happened, it's a bad day, and all that sort of thing, which is more my response now than anything else. Anger was ruining my life in so many ways. Like I couldn't go into work without being angry about something, whether it be something that's happened at home, at uni, at work. It would just instantly ruin it, and I'd be like, no, that's it, I've had enough, I'm not doing this anymore. And I would overreact to it, and it's really destroyed it was, I wouldn't say it destroyed, it was destroying a lot of my friendships and my relationships with people, because, you know, they just went, well, why are we going to deal with this person? This person's not like someone that we want in our lives. And, you know, it was hard to hear that coming from people that I really cared about, that, you know, they were like, well, we've really thought about just kind of cutting you off, because it's just easier not to deal with, you know, your anger. I think that was one of my lowest points, was being told by multiple people, like, we can't deal with it. I think my other lowest point was the realisation that my sister doesn't speak to me. And it's for a multitude of reasons, but I do know that my anger is partly to do with that. And it really has, like, taken a massive toll in our relationship as sisters and friends and all that sort of thing. We don't really speak to each other, and it is hard. And it was one of those things of like, I have to fix this, I have to fix myself so I can approach her and anybody else that I've, you know, done this damage to, and go, I've acknowledged this. I need to fix this, and I'm so sorry, because I know, as me, as the person who I am at my core, I would never want to hurt someone on purpose. And it's like this red haze just comes over you, and you do something and you instantly regret it afterwards. The person that I used to be, I feel bad for her. I feel like there was a lot of things that, you know, she couldn't resolve. And, you know, sometimes you can't resolve them, you have to walk away from them. And I think because she, you know, who I am, I've got that dominant personality, and I like to know that things go from start to finish and all this sort of thing. And when I can't finish, you know, resolve something, I think that's really what started to make her angry, and it kind of snowballed from there. So I really wish I could have told her that, you know, just because you're not getting the finished product, or it's not finishing and it's not going the way you are, it's fine. You know, move on from it. It's such a small moment in your life. You've got so much more things that you're going to be doing that you don't need to worry about that. How I am now, I'm happy, really, really, really happy. Very positive. I still have my down days. I have, you know, the occasional trigger, and it particularly happens when I'm ridiculously tired, like beyond tired, where you're just not computing as a human being. But my relationships are better with people. My work is better. Uni's better. Everything has is working out I would say working out in my favour a bit more than what it would have in the past if I hadn't, you know, come to the Brain Wellness Spa. Yeah, I've noticed that I certainly wasn't as anxious about things. I've noticed that when I used to approach people, I'd be a bit like, oh my God, like, what are they going to think of me? You know, how am I going to do this? And I'm a bit more confident now that I can just approach someone and go, you know, this is who I am. You know, you can accept me or you can't, sort of thing. I think it really helped. That initial 12 weeks was fantastic. And then the extra 3 that they popped on top with the self-esteem and self-confidence was just a bonus, a massive bonus, because I did know, and one of the things we did see was that I did lack a lot of self-confidence and a lot of self-esteem. Yeah, I definitely noticed a change in my daily habits. I do spend a lot more time with myself. I'm a bit more happy to be by myself at times. You know, I've always been happy to be alone at home. Like, I've always been a big video game person, but being able to go out and grab coffee or grab lunch and go and read a book and all this sort of thing in a cafe and not be worried of like, oh, people are going to stare at me and all this sort of thing. It's so good to be able to do that and to be able to kind of, it's almost like a sense of independence really, where you can kind of go, oh, I can go out and not feel like I'm being judged. I've noticed a lot of change in my thoughts. There was a lot of negative thoughts. I did go through a period when I was younger, about 13 to 16, where I self-harmed, tried to commit suicide. I was just completely off the rails, unfortunately, for my poor mother. And now I don't have any of those thoughts. It's very freeing to kind of be able to go have a positive mindset and know that at the end of the day, everything's going to be okay, that it's just such a small moment in your life that, you know, it's a temporary feeling. It would be almost 20 years of, no, not quite 20, 17. Be about 17 years of trying different therapies, different medications, and none of them worked in the long run. I really wish I found the Brain Wellness Spa years and years and years ago, and I wish that it was more talked about in schools as well. Like, I went to an all-girls school, and it was kind of like mental health, bullying, all that sort of thing was just completely shut down. It was like, no, this doesn't happen in our school. All our girls are happy, they're all this, that and the other. And I wish that it was spoken about of like, it's okay to have these feelings, but you need to understand why you're having these feelings, and you need to combat these feelings so that you don't go down this path that essentially can end up hurting you in the long run and hurting family members and friends and just your general life. To be in control of my mental health is amazing. It really is. It's fantastic. If you asked me a few years ago, I'd be like, mental health issues? I don't have mental health issues. This is just who I am. And now, you know, being able to acknowledge it as an adult, it's fantastic. And as I said, I really wish I'd known about it sooner, and I wish that I'd be able to can go back to the people that I've hurt and go, I'm sorry that I acted this way. I didn't realize why I was acting this way. And at the time, I didn't want to acknowledge that I was acting this way. And yeah, now it's just fantastic being able to actually know that my actions are actually me. It's not some version of me. You know, it may seem like it's a lot of money, but there's no amount of money in the world that can buy happiness, to be your mental health, to be better, to go forward in your life and actually become a better person, because there's always a chance to be better than what you are already. You know, 5 years down the track, you're going to be different to what you are now, and you may as well put some good, solid foundations down with your mental health.